Okay, I'm back. This is part two. So I'm gonna read out insight into my remorse, and this is, I think, a key factor that kind of, changed the commissioner's minds as they read through my paperwork, and gave me credit for, speaking from the heart and putting my thoughts into paper. And so here I go. I would like to thank both the commissioner and deputy commissioner for the opportunity to share my insight into my journey of genuine remorse for the victims of my crime. First and foremost, I would like to state I am deeply sorry and ashamed for the pain and sorrow that I personally caused and brought upon Mr. Eric and Miss Lori Aribal and their entire family. When my crime occurred, I did not really know or understand what remorse felt like or what it really was. But as I sat in the Alley County Jail, I did not feel anything for what I had done. As a gang member, I had no feelings for others. There was an emotional disconnect. It's mind-boggling for me now looking back on it. There was no empathy, no sense of consequences or grasp on the impact of the crime I had committed. I had no concern or value for Eric when pulling the trigger. I was completely disconnected. After I shot Mr. Eric, I went home and fell asleep and went to work the next day as if nothing had happened. My arrest soon followed, and once again I denied any involvement for the attempted murder on Mr. Eric. Instead, I attempted to build and fight a false identity case by finding so-called discrepancies and loopholes to justify any wrongdoings. My criminal lifestyle and my adopted beliefs were in full practice as I continued hurting my victims by having them relive that horrible day that forever changed both their lives. I started to change in 2012 during my time on C status. It is here that I truly desire a change in my life. I was no longer content with my lifestyle, so I began attending church and enrolled into AANA 12-step programs. It was here that I began accepting responsibility for my actions. Responsibility was always the forefront of every other step, and it is here that I started to see things for what they were and not how I wanted them to be. When I started to accept the philosophy of self-help, the process of the 12-step builds up to making amends. I had to accept the impact I had on Mr. Perea, Mrs. Lori, and their entire family. I was finally admitting my wrongs and realizing that all along I had numbed myself from accepting my truth. Every day up until then, I hid my guilt in taking responsibility for my actions and behavior. Self-help became my shovel that helped me unearth my hidden feelings that I had suppressed due to my denial. My group involvement allowed me to open up and share my truth. 2.5 years later, through AVP participation, I began to see the impact my choices had on my victims. Through the personal stories of others, I began genuinely feeling for my victims. I could no longer hold back my emotions nor deny what I had done. My transformation was revealing itself, and my empathy for others was developing as a result. Through the personal, it is within these settings that healing took place and remorse was born. Guilt and shame was now very present in my life. I kept taking myself back to July 23rd, Thursday afternoon, 1998, to the scene of my crime, and picture my victim, Eric, sitting on the driver's seat, clenching his wound in a haze of confusion, panic, and pain, thinking about his mother, father, his son, praying to God to let him live. I could only imagine the terrible fear that he felt as he fought for his life. I understand I had a huge impact on their lives and sometimes wonder if they had to go through counseling for the trauma I put them through. I have no doubt I changed the course of their lives forever. I know I robbed them out of their peace. I ask myself how often these memories are brought up again with triggers like a simple door slamming too hard or watching a movie with gun violence. Are they both reliving that horrible day? I believe there's a huge possibility that I left not only a scar but a life-lasting impression that might never heal. I think on how my crime affected Mrs. Lori as she sat passenger when I shot Eric. The terror that she must have felt as I displayed my anger and gang member ways upon two innocent individuals, a father and mother, a young couple who were just trying to get home. I think about my victims' parents who were the ones to first receive the horrible news that their son had been shot. I think about the drive to the hospital and the terrible anguish and fear they must have felt. I could only imagine the agonizing, dreadful feeling that puts my stomach into knots, being that I have a daughter as well. The thought of them running down a hospital hallway not knowing that he was going to live or die. I am sure that they are so grateful that he lived and upset for the damage that he had to go through because of a senseless act that was committed by me. The remorse that I feel deeply saddens me. It breaks my heart to know I caused and inflicted physical and mental injury on both my victims as well as their entire family. Thinking, thinking about the harm I caused and the level I had reached in dehumanizing an innocent and undeserving couple, it makes me question what gave me the right to alter the lives of my primary and secondary victims with my self-righteous and secure and aggressive behavior. The shame that I feel and the regret that is now part of my daily life motivate me to continue on the path of change by being responsible, having self-control, and being accountable for my thoughts and actions so that I may never again cause harm to an individual or to society as a whole, both within these walls and outside these walls. Sincerely, Diego. Remorse, moral anguish, and bitter regret arising from repentance from past misdeeds. I genuinely feel for my victims. Uh, can't change back the time, the hands of time, but I learned from my mistake. You know, I was young, committed a senseless crime, and very shameful of it. But I got to share it with the world because for them who think that people don't change, yeah, we do change. In my case, prison softened me up, and I say that proudly. I didn't come out as a hardened criminal. I came out full of life, trying to earn my way in society, and you know, I started from scratch. I'm at zero. I'm crawling like a baby, but you know, I'm finding relief because of my own personal traumas, the impact that prison had on me, physically, mentally. Um, you know, it's a daily struggle, but I could find comfort in being able to share a little bit of insight into what really goes on in my mind and what got me, you know, to be sitting here at my mom's house. So I will continue. The next one is going to be insight into the causative factors that led to my life crime, and I'm gonna continue on. And this was part two, and hopefully I continue to get followers, and you know, let me know what you guys think, and I'll be looking forward to your comments. Keep it positive, and God bless.